real question. The real question is, what damage will this do to the British economy? And for that matter, what damage does it do to trade relations between the UK and the EU? Because the EU as collective is very important, obviously, for African markets as well. And these are really unknown. One of the issues why I think so many commentators were probably against this Brexit was the unknown factor really leaves one up in the air as to what happens with trade. Look, my own view is that the dust will settle on this over a period of the next 3 weeks or so. The shock value will wear off. And the real issue will be whether Britain can recreate reasonably positive trading terms with Europe. If she can, then I think the knock-on effect into Africa will be minimized. But for the moment, what we're going to see is great volatility and it affects African currencies, emerging market currencies, and we in Africa don't need any further external factors to affect our currency.
That's Daniel Silke, independent analyst and director at the Political Futures Consultancy. He was on the line to Benjamin Moshota. The situation remains tense and unpredictable in the Horn of Africa, where Ethiopia is fighting its neighbor Eritrea. The fighting comes shortly after the United Nations released a special report accusing Eritrean authorities of committing crimes against humanity. The fighting also comes nearly 20 years after war between Ethiopia and Eritrea claimed more than 100,000 lives. James Shimanyula reports.
The authorities in the Horn of Africa nation of Eritrea have accused their neighbor Ethiopia of carrying out a military attack in a border area separating the two countries. According to a statement released in Asmara, the capital of Eritrea, fighting taking place in Torona, a town separating Eritrea and Ethiopia, was triggered by a unilateral military attack unleashed by Ethiopia. But Ethiopia denies the Eritrean claim, maintaining that it was Eritrea that fired the first shot, and Ethiopia had to respond by firing back to defend its border area with Eritrea. Here is Ethiopia's Communications Minister Getachew Reda asserting that Eritrea indeed fired the first military volley.
It was the Eritreans who shot the first salvo. As a result of so many provocations, we don't think they expected the kind of response that we mounted to reverse the attack they had launched. I hope this time around they won't repeat that stupid mistake of inviting us to a full-scale war. Whether the Eritrean regime will next decide to regroup and try to do something stupid, that is ultimately their choice. But that will have very grim consequences.
Responding swiftly to Ethiopian claim that Eritrea fired the first volley against Ethiopia, Eritrea's Information Minister Yemane Gebremeskel said Ethiopia should in fact be condemned for, as he put it, provoking a